viewfinder so I can check on the stream. Okay, I think it's working. Yeah, cool. As long as the sound is working, that's the main thing. Welcome, Taurus, to your August predictions reading. You are my last sign for the day, so thank you so much for tuning in, especially if you're able to tune in live. But if you're here after the fact, I just appreciate your energy. Thank you for this energy exchange. Now, this is an August predictions reading for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Before we get into it, I'm going to tune into your energy, and I highly recommend you do the same. I'm going to take a moment to connect and hopefully channel clear, honest messages for you. So set your intentions as well at this time, and just focus on the sound of my voice while I tune in. Spirit, please connect me to Taurus's energy. Please help me offer Taurus the most clear, honest messages for their reading. Okay, so Taurus, I was actually really excited to do your reading. A few times now, I actually felt your energy, but you're going to be read last just because it's Leo's birthday. Leo's sun babies are experiencing their one or another year around the sun, so I had to do them first, which meant you get done last. So I'm excited to see what comes through for you. I'm going to start by pulling a card from this deck to have a look at your overall themes. Bit of a rough shuffle, but Spirit, what can Taurus expect in the month of August? Overall, what can Taurus expect? Okay, we have 8 reversed. Interesting. Waning gibbous. Yeah, it's time to break cycles. It's time to reset. So these may be cycles you've inherited. You're breaking cycles that aren't working, and you're having revelations about what this means for you. It may not be personal. This could be in your workplace, having to redo things systemically, creating new systems, new processes, new habits, again, new cycles. But this is also about recognizing when something isn't working and trying to find a better way of doing things. With waning gibbous here, even though this may not have been you that started this, you're going to be the one that finishes it, which is very powerful. You're going to be the one that finishes it. So let's have a look at what's happening in those 3 key areas of your life. We'll start with love. Spirit, what is happening in love for Taurus in the month of August? What is happening in love for Taurus in the month of August? Okay. We have Chiron, yeah, some healing, but also just appreciating things for what they are, not putting too much pressure on yourself for being more than what you are. That's what this feels like. And when it comes to your money, we have solar eclipse reversed. You're realizing something after the fact. It's already happened. Okay. We'll come back to that. Let's have a look at your lifestyle. What is happening in Taurus's lifestyle in the month of August, please, Spirit? We have Eris. Okay, and this is where we actually get to see why you may be feeling like you've done something you shouldn't have with your money. Okay. We'll get to that. With Ceres at the back of the deck, that's just how I say it. I think it's actually Keris. I'm not too sure. But this asteroid's energy is really about trying to make things better, because if it's reversed, it's not working. If we want to reap the rewards of our efforts, our hard work, our commitments, we have to do things the right way. And in August, you're realizing what hasn't been done the right way, either through your own actions or through the actions of others. You're realizing what isn't going to work out or grow unless you do something to change it. So let's look at your love life first with that in mind. We have Chiron here. We're accepting ourselves for who we are in the month of August, and there's nothing wrong with who we are, but we're also realizing that when it comes to somebody else in our love life, we also have to accept them for who we are. They're who they are. Why would we be accepting them for who we are? They are coming across as somebody who's going through something that they've already been through before. And in August, we're seeing them as someone who may always have this wound or this trigger or this cycle. No matter how much we want to help them, that is who they are. So in August, in order to recognize cycles in your love life that aren't working, you have to accept people for who they are. And you have to make a decision about what you can do to change those cycles in your own life. Because if they're not going to change, what can you do to create powerful change? So what is happening in Taurus's love life, spirit, in the month of August? What is happening? We have the Matriarch of Shields reversed. Someone may have an unhealthy relationship with their mother, mostly because the Matriarch of Shields reversed can reflect a feminine energy who uses their relationships with others to their advantage at the expense of those people. It can sometimes look like a mother who's, infringes on a lot of personal boundaries just because they're a parent. Or it could look like a sister who's the same thing, infringes on personal boundaries just because they're the sister. But these themes are more than just other people. They're actually about the way in which you're treating yourself in August. So be very careful, because these people are mirrors and they're reflecting things back on you that you may need to confront, rather than confronting these people. Let's get into it though. Hi Jasmine, welcome. Love it. I'm a Taurus moon, so we're having to be very objective here and not project anything. With the Warrior of Pipes here, goodness, this is beautiful. So usually the Warrior of Pipes has a very impulsive energy. It kind of is a fiery energy that brings in spontaneous, sort of unpredictable feelings. In your love life in August, there is spontaneous energy. There is a little bit of an unexpected visitor coming through in August. But when it comes to romance, you're also coming across as this person, as this energy that is fiery, passionate, and that wants to kind of experience things. So when it comes to love, whether you're single or in a relationship, it feels like you're likely to do things based off of this desire to be at to have that experience, or to be at that place, or to see that person, or to, it's almost like it's not logical, but it feels free-spirited. It feels very purposeful, and it feels like a good way of trying to coax yourself out there to doing things that you feel are going to put you in the right place at the right time. Now, I do want to talk about singles first. There is an unpredictable energy here in your love life. If you're single, this person may not be your forever. So you need to be careful about what you expect of them. Let them show you who they are, and don't take their actions personally, but use their character as a mirror to identify how you can put the right energy out there in order to get the outcome you desire. because you may be feeling frustrated if you're a single Taurus, that you keep attracting people who aren't taking you seriously, and that this is something that keeps happening to you and your beautiful big heart. But really, this doesn't have to keep happening. Remember, August is where you're breaking cycles and you're fixing what isn't working. And in order to do that, you have to acknowledge what isn't working. So if you're a single Taurus, don't let these, here for today, gone tomorrow people determine your self-worth and have a bigger impact than they deserve on your narrative. Now, you could be having a lot of fun with somebody who isn't sticking around for a long time if you are single. You can't let that experience take away from your values, take away from your value as a person, your self-worth. With the Matriarch of Shields, it feels like it's a fun moment, but it shouldn't define your whole character. And with the Strength card here, it is important that if you're a single Taurus, you use your experiences in love in August to empower yourself and to feel more aware of who you are, in control of what you can do, and like you're in the driver's seat as the main character. You get to choose ultimately who gets to spend time, energy with you, and who gets to be a part of your story, no matter how short their little appearance in your novel is. So remember that when you make your choices in August as a single Taurus, and use your choices to give you the experiences you want, but to empower you into knowing more about yourself and feeling more confident in who you are, in what you want, and in how you want your love life to progress. Remember, with Chiron here, your main themes in love is being able to accept people for who they are and being able to accept yourself for who you are. Don't try to be anyone you're not, and don't try to force other people to be versions of themselves they're not ready to be. So with the Three of Blades here, this is the infamous Three of Swords. It is mourning for a reason. When it comes to love, if you're a single Taurus, you've got some tough decisions to make. And you will either be breaking hearts, or you will feel like your heart is broken, because there's a decision here about your future that you need to make because it's right for you, but it's not going to be right for somebody else. And so you're breaking a cycle here in your love life if you're a single Taurus, which involves you accepting yourself for who you are and accepting other people for who they are. And you're continuing to focus on what is best for you, allowing other people to do the same. So we are parting ways with somebody who was here for a good time, not a long time. And we're using that experience to know ourselves better, to love ourselves deeper, and to feel more confident in who we are and what we want moving forward. But there may be a process here in which you need to mourn who you were when they were in your life and who they were when they were in your life. Process it and move forward, because ultimately all the threes in tarot are about expansion, creation. And with the Three of Swords, we can't focus on the opportunities until we process the endings. So if you're a Taurus who's in a relationship, similar themes. However, the Warrior of Pipes is not going to be somebody who's here for a short time, gone in the morning type of feeling. But it is an energy of change that is showing up in a way where ourselves or somebody we love is showing us who they are and how they're going through things that we've tried to help them through before. And now, instead of saying, I told you so, and making them feel bad for who they really are, we need to take a step back and look at that cycle that they're in with Chiron and the Matriarch of Shields reversed. And we need to decide what we're going to do to make sure that our needs are met. Because the person that you're in a relationship with here, Taurus, is not able to break this cycle themselves. This is who they are. But it is not what you need, and it may not even be what you want. And so you've got to figure out in August what you can do to fulfill your needs and to manage your own expectations, because this person is not going to change. They are who they are, and you are who you are. So you need to use this experience to, again, just like the single Tauruses, connect with who you are, empower yourself with confidence in being able to make the right choice for yourself, because this experience has shown you what you want, who you are, and what you need. And from that place of confidence, you need to make difficult choices about the future of this relationship. Now, the Three of Swords is called the breakup card for a reason. These conversations aren't easy, but they are necessary. We can either grow together through this, or we will grow apart. But avoiding that conversation isn't going to change the outcome. It is going to put us in the position of steering that conversation, which I think as a Taurus is really important for you. You're seeing the fruits of your labor spoil, and you're feeling like, oh, my love life just isn't growing the way that I want it to. And I love this person, but this Chiron energy keeps coming back. Like, I thought they were going to get through this. I thought they were going to be able to heal this, but it's just a wound that will never heal. So now that they've shown me who they are, I need to decide, is that enough for me? What can we do to grow through this? Or are we growing apart? So it is big energy, big themes, but it only feels big at the time. It's the Three of Swords for a reason. In hindsight, it was just one of those experiences. At the time, it feels huge, but with time, it starts to feel smaller, much like the Three. So that is your love life. Not an easy message, much like the conversation you need to have, but a necessary message to prepare you for what is to come. Let's have a look now at your finances, your money. Spirit, what can Taurus expect in their finances? What is happening in their money in August? What is happening with Taurus's money? Now, I do feel like we'll get more information in your lifestyle aspect of this reading, but we're going to do the best that we can with this finances energy first. Solar eclipse reversed makes me think that you're realizing you've done something you shouldn't have after. And these sorts of moments make you wish that life was, predetermined and you could read ahead and prepare yourself. But really, you have to be able to see it as, I'm human. I'm doing the best that I can with what I've got. And hindsight is a wonderful thing, but ultimately I can't change what's happened. So how do we move forward? Now, as a Taurus, and with whatever placement your Taurus energy is in, it could be a bit tricky to let that go. You're taking your finances personally. And when there's a mistake in your finances, it feels like a personal thing. Like, oh, why, how did I let it get to this? So let's figure out what this is before we decide it's scary. And that's so funny, Jasmine, because I was feeling that for you. I was like, whoa, this feels a little bit scary. But let's figure out what it is first. Spirit, for Taurus, what is happening in their money? We have the World upright. We have the Chief of Shields. There's a lot of repeating tarot cards in this reading, so a lot of collective energy in August, which is impacting every sign and the Sun card. At the back of the deck is the Seven of Vessels, Vision Quest. The Seven of Vessels, or the Seven of Cups, in this deck, it feels like more of a spiritual feeling. It's not as much emotional as the other tarot cards. It's just the deck, though. The deck is very spiritual. When it comes to money, you have choices, you have options. So I think that you're more worried about not choosing the right choice, the right option. And you want to make sure that when it comes to your money, you're doing the right things with it. You're spending it in the ways that are going to be gratifying emotionally, but also materially. And you want to fulfill your heart's desire in some way with your money. So maybe you're deciding, do I spend my money in August and buy that thing that I really, 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 really want? Or do I wait? Do I give it more time? What are my options? So we can see with the Seven of Vessels that you're really almost meditating on this bigger picture with your finances, on where your money should be going to long term, and on how that's going to affect your happiness in the short term. It is making you want to kind of be told what to do. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you're looking for advice from, you know, friends or professionals or even social media. You may be looking at certain accounts on social media that can help you, guide you through this. You're really taking information on board from whoever is able to give you information that resonates. That's the main thing. It doesn't really matter what they say, because at the end of the day, you're making the choices. But if what they're saying resonates with you, you do seem to take that on board. With that being said, the World card here tells us that this solar eclipse reversed energy is really more of a future feeling. You might be comparing past mistakes to potential future mistakes, but really, it's not there yet. Does that make sense? Like, your life isn't falling apart. Your money is actually not in a bad place. If anything, it feels like the solar eclipse card is you getting to a point with your finances where you wish you'd started something sooner. In August, you're going, oh, there's so much I want to do. I wish I did it earlier in life. I wish I started it sooner. I wish I didn't leave it this late. But actually, you're just having very high expectations of yourself. As you break cycles in all aspects of your life, the cycle that you're trying to break with your finances is one of which you're wanting to level up and you know, be more materially successful. But the subconscious theme here is that you actually aren't doing that bad. The cycle you need to break, which is not one that you're paying attention to, is the one where you keep pushing the finish line further and further ahead, so that you're not actually celebrating your success. You're just accomplishing and then starting a new goal. Accomplishing, starting a new goal. The cycle that needs to break in your finances is one where you actually take time to celebrate, to rest, to delegate, and then to progress with your finances, which includes your career. It's more than just how you make money and spend money. It includes the amount of responsibilities you carry with your money, the amount of opportunities you choose to take on board with your career. You have the potential in August to be very self-managed. If you're not self-employed, you're going to be able to, again, delegate, which I would strongly advise you to do, so that you can take a step back and truly examine what cycle needs to be broken here in your finances. Because with the sun reversed, your money and your relationship with money should be more than the material success of it all. I see you being very materially successful though, but I think you need to feel that on a personal, internal level. Nobody can give you enough praise, enough recognition, enough money to help you feel like you're doing enough. And that's the problem here. So I think that when it comes to work, with these two cards here, you're in the prime position for a promotion. You are being recognized for your efforts, for your skills, and for the outcomes that you produce with your hard work and your work ethic in general. If you're wanting a new job, you are you're being recognized as an ideal candidate. You might be overqualified for what you're applying for or what you're hoping to apply for in August. If you are self-employed, your business is achieving something in August that is worth celebrating, and it's really important that you take time to acknowledge that, use that as part of your business plan, incorporate the celebration of it into your social media campaigns or whatever it is that you do, your marketing campaigns, and make it something that you use to empower what you've already done. Don't just sort of go, wow, that was good, yay, my first 50k month or whatever it is, and then you move on. No, come back to that energy of recognizing, celebrating, and just appreciating that milestone with your finances. Now, there is a feeling here with the Chief of Shields of you having the responsibility, the insight, and the wisdom to know when to delegate, to know when to outsource, and to know when to, how to manage your time and how to manage your money well. So I do think that August is a month where you have a lot of different opportunities. There's something your heart is set on, but you also need to take the time to take a step back and just look at the bigger picture and evaluate a sustainable long-term plan that is actually going to make you more happy. That's the cycle that needs to be broken. You're very much showing up as a money magnet, but are you happy? That's the cycle here. And with the Sun card reversed, it's deeper than money. So take that step back. Let's have a look now at your lifestyle. This is where I think things are going to really fall into place, and it's probably a better thing that we're ending it with this instead of the money. Oh, Jasmine, I'm actually doing Virgo next too, so hopefully that one's helpful as well. But I feel you, and I appreciate you so much for letting me know how it's resonating. But all that earth energy would definitely put that kind of pressure on you. So let's have a look at your lifestyle now. Spirit, what is happening for Taurus's lifestyle? Those cards, it's probably the way I'm shuffling, let's be honest, but they're just falling out. Okay. At the back of the deck is the Fool. Ooh, the Fool looks kind of creepy in this deck. A little bit unsettling. There's certain decks where those cards just, and the Fool in this deck is one of them. Now, this represents a brand new beginning in your lifestyle, a fresh start, the chance to really take something new on board. When we look at your lifestyle, we're looking at how you spend your free time, what you're doing when you're not working. We're also looking at your platonic connections, your family, your friends. But the Fool is more than that. This feels like a new outlook on life that you're adopting in your lifestyle. And this is about having a positive mindset, a positive attitude. Trying to show up for yourself every day seems to be a priority in August. And it's really important that you take whatever happens, around you in your stride. You're not trying to witness too much negativity. Like, you're being very careful about who you hang around, what you consume online, because your priority is to maintain this positive, open, things are working out for me mindset. And it is paying off in August. This is a new cycle that you're starting, and it is about, with this energy here, it is about making sure that you're not standing in your own way. There seems to be people around you that are provoking this. I'm not going to lie. There's people around you who you wish had this energy. Like, you wish they took some time off to just be a better person, but you can't change them. So you're trying to change yourself in your lifestyle, and you're trying not to let their bad mood, their bad attitude, their bad energy take away from your experiences. So there are some rifts in your family, and this could be through marriage for some of you, but it just feels like with the happy family card reversed and Eris and Sarah, like, we just need to be very mindful about what we take on board emotionally. We can love that person, but we can also leave them alone. We can have love for that person, but we can also hold sacred space for ourselves first and foremost. There's nothing wrong with having personal boundaries. And in August, this happy family card reversed is saying you get to choose who your family is. Just because someone has the same last name as you or shares similar DNA to you doesn't mean that they get to treat you a certain way. You get to choose not only who your family is, but how people treat you. And in August, you may be distancing yourself from people who either don't have the same mindset as you, the same mentality as you, or who simply can't love you the way you deserve to be loved. You're breaking that cycle, and you're choosing to invest more of your positive energy. You're intentionally trying really hard to be positive energy into the right people who may not be blood relatives, but they share the same values that you want in your family, and they share the same attitudes that you want in your family, and they have the same ideas or aspirations that you have, and that's what's drawing you towards them and away from other family. So we see with the stars here reversed, more Aquarius energy, by the way, lots of Aquarius energy, but this card is reversed to really highlight how we are breaking that cycle. The stars card can be about the future, but it can also feel like it's pulling us into the past, because it's telling us that yes, this may be the future that you want, but you have to be realistic about who you are today. And in order to understand who you are today, you have to be at peace with who you were in your past. So there's this whole chain reaction of processing your identity, what has happened to you in this lifetime, and how that has affected you up until this moment, which can help you reshape who you are becoming. So by identifying aspects of your past that you connect with and that you don't want to connect with anymore, you get to reshape the person you're becoming and how you want your future to look. Now, this is very big picture stuff, Taurus. This is very big picture stuff. With Eris here, the whole point of this is to bring more peace. Eris is a very strong energy. It's kind of similar to Mars. It has a very almost, and I encourage you to look it up yourself as well, but in your reading, it just feels, with that card reversed, we're not fighting anymore. We're not carrying other people's hurt for them. We're not taking their pain and making it other people's problems. And we just want peace in our lives for us, not for them. They can figure themselves out. This is for us. So that's the cycle that you're breaking in your lifestyle. It is big picture, but it feels like this has been happening with this card reversed. This is a process that you're picking up again in August because you're choosing peace, because it feels like the right time. It's aligning with your work. It's aligning with the amount of free time that you have. It's aligning with your mindset, with your other relationships. It feels like with the Maiden of Blades, this is something that you've been thinking about. And in August, you get the chance to really try it out again, or for the first time on someone new. You get to test the waters a little bit. Now, the Maiden of Blades is not the most skilled of the court cards. Yes, they love information like the other court cards. They're a very curious energy, but it's also a somewhat naive energy. This is us trying to do things and say things and have conversations that we don't have a lot of experience doing. So it can feel awkward, uncomfortable, and even a little intimidating being in these spaces as a Maiden of Blades. But that doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be there or to say those things. It's really important that in August, what you do with your free time and who you choose to spend your time with, these people should be giving you the space, the dignity, and the respect to figure things out. You're not intentionally hurting anybody, but you are haphazardly learning who you want to be. And in that process, if people come with their own agendas, they could get hurt because you're trying to have these boundaries and break these cycles and have this fresh start, but you don't know how to put it all together. You're figuring that out. It's a little bit of tentative communication this way, action that way. So in your lifestyle, August is really about you getting more curious about the person you want to be, who you want in your future, and how to communicate that. And there may need to be periods in between where you're pause, time out. I got to think about this. Like, thank you for reaching out to me, but I have to think about this. Don't rush communication. Mercury is in retrograde. Don't force communication. And asking someone to give you time to figure out what you want to say is not the worst thing in the world. That might actually be the best thing that you do, instead of saying something you don't mean and then having to go back and say, well, wait a minute, this is what I meant. I just didn't know how to say it. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Taurus. Thank you so much for all of your time, your energy, and your support. I hope you have a wonderful month ahead. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Thank you so much, sweet souls in the chat, for keeping me company and letting me know how this resonated. Until we cross paths again, I wish you peace. Oh my gosh, I really wish you peace. Prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy on your journey ahead. Look after your beautiful selves. Bye.